I have an example today of basically why I tend to not reply to comments on the things that I say. And I tend to not go back and look at the comments on my videos and things like that. And yeah, feel free to comment. I'm not in any way trying to stop you. As far as I'm concerned, you have the right of free speech. You can say what you want. If the platform has an issue with you, yeah, that'll be the platform. I won't delete comments. I won't block a comment. Say what you want. You absolutely have that freedom as far as I'm concerned. So this was on social media, a video, a pretty cool video of in Germany. They took apart an underpass under a little railroad and rebuilt it, and it's like a time-lapse video, and it's pretty cool. I appreciate the effort that went into the engineering and all of that. Like it's cool. Respect. And the comment on the video says a 19th century German bridge was demolished and rebuilt in just 4 days. Like, that's impressive. That's impressive. A lot of work went into that. And they restored it to working order in just a couple days. Like, that's amazing. Here in Arizona, one of the comments I made was, but it takes 15 years to pave 150 feet in Arizona, which sometimes that's not an exaggeration, unfortunately. But, so this other guy commented on the video. It seems odd they didn't take the opportunity to widen the roadway underneath to 2 lanes, looking ahead to the future. And that got 16 upvotes. That's cool. And then there's some comments about they don't need that, they blah, blah, blah. And then I commented, so this is partially in jest, though there is a historical thread that I do think is actually kind of relevant to this. So it's kind of a joke, but not entirely, right? And so I said, well, these are Germans. World War I and World War II both happened because they thought they had the ultimate solution to life forever. Right? So just understand it's a little bit of a joke in this. Although I actually do feel that there is a thread of truth to this too. Just so then somebody else said, "You've never studied history, I see." So this is where it's getting stupid, right? Like, I almost just didn't even comment to that because I know that there is a historical reason that I connected those dots and put that together, and I think anybody with a similar background to mine or access to knowledge that I have, which is, so you're a human being with the internet, could figure out what I'm trying to say here, right? So somebody saying, "Never studied history, I see," you're just being a dick. You're just being a dick. Like, you have an interpretation that makes it look like what I'm saying is just nonsense, but you're one person. Right? So my response eventually was, you really aren't aware of the fact that the fundamental reason the German Empire was confident enough to enter World War I was because Wilhelm II believed his government was the ultimate form of government? He lived out his life believing that he would be put back into power for Christ's sake. So that addresses World War I, now World War II. And as an extension of that hubristic belief that the German people had, solved the end game of life. God, I'm just going to start that one over because I don't know where the breaks are. And, as an extension of that hubristic belief that the German people had solved the endgame of life, the Nazi Party promised a 1,000-year Reich, which Hitler proposed as the conclusion of the natural development of German history, which again is just true. Both of these are true. Whether every random German citizen felt this way, I doubt that they did. I seriously doubt that they did. But the governments were certainly acting as if they had the end game, that this was the ultimate way to be. Wilhelm II was so ridiculously confident in this that even when he was in exile, whatever, he kept believing that the people would rise up and put him back into power. You can view that as just like crazy narcissism, but you can also view that as an underlying confidence that the way that your government was working is the best way ever possible. And when this occurs multiple times, there's a thread to this. There's a cultural thread underlying this. So that's what my comment was referring to when I said these are Germans. World War I and World War II both happened because they thought they had the ultimate solution to life forever. Again, mostly a joke. But there is a thread that I believe is relevant because jokes don't work if there isn't something there that's true. And then in response to my explanation, the guy is like, the Germans got dragged into World War I as an acolyte of the Austro-Hungarian Empire after Bosnia killed a Serb, but okay. So yeah, he doesn't even use the right parts of speech. And yeah, I know. But they entered it. They funded it. They kept it going. Other countries pulled out in the middle of it. Right? Like Russia had issues and they're like, oh fuck, okay. And over in World War II, Italy kind of just stopped in the middle of it. So just because you're dragged into it by something doesn't mean you're forced to continue fighting it. Germany fought World War I to the absolute end after some of its allies were done. And after World War I ended, Wilhelm II still had this confidence that the people would bring him back. Right? So you have elements in the governing body of the country sitting here thinking, we have the end game. We know how the world is going to end up in the long run forever. Right? That's what I'm alluding to. It doesn't matter how World War I started. I didn't say that the German Empire started World War I. I said the fundamental reason the German Empire was confident enough to enter World War I. I didn't say they started it. And yeah, they were dragged into it, but they kind of had a choice. They did. They could have said, no. What is this? So, yeah. This is why I often don't really carry on a conversation in the comments with people, because if you're just refusing to acknowledge that there might be a reason that I'm saying the things I'm saying, and that you feel that you're in a position to just bully me into shutting up, well, fuck you. I'm not engaging in that. You're free to try. If that's the kind of comment you want to make, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to turn off comments for the video. I'm not going to do any of that shit. You're free to say those things. But the fact that so many people do say those kinds of things and do behave that way is why I don't really engage with comments very often.